What do you think is the most underrated car
Underrated car.
and overrated?
I would have to agree with Stradman. I think he said the GT3 RS or
Yeah.
something. I think that's probably it, because I've driven a GT3 with an automatic gearbox, and it's just not as good. It just isn't. And a GT3 RS is that with an automatic gearbox and some aero and whatever. In any other setting, like in a track, yeah, I'm sure it's great. It's great, but it just is missing that one thing, that Lotus Elise quality that you'd want in a car like that. It has just the right amount of power, 500 horsepower, and you want that to be a manual. So I think that people are, killing themselves over this car for $400,000-$500,000. That's kind of ridiculous.
And what about the most underrated car?
Underrated car, I would say, I'll look around and say probably an Aston Martin DBS. Like that one. So it's Aston Martin DBS. I'm biased, and it's my money no object dream car, but I love that car because I think it's probably one of the most beautiful Aston Martins they ever made. It's also one of the best sounding. I mean, mine has an exhaust on it. It sounds like an old F1 car. And with a manual, it's really nice. It's the shifter is nicely weighted. It doesn't feel like a sports car, but it's a very nice GT car. It's very well appointed. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think and for a car like that, that punches above its weight class in terms of fit and finish and all that stuff. I mean, you can get one of those for like 150 now. You'd be hard pressed to find anything like that for 500.
Yeah.
What car make would you say is the most unreliable?
Something British, for sure. So pick any of the British brands. Right now, Aston Martin is probably okay because they have a lot of Mercedes parts in them. McLaren is fairly unreliable. And then I'd say Lotus. Lotus, especially the older Lotuses.
I thought they were bulletproof. The craftsmanship is shoddy,
Yeah.
but because they use a lot of Toyota parts.
No, the Toyota parts are the good part.
Yeah.
That's the good part. So the Lotus part, Lotus are really good engineers. They can't really put cars together very, very well. And I'm thinking of like Lotus of like even past the Elise, like the Esprit. Like I had two Esprits, and those were like bad. But McLaren, I think McLaren's issue is that they have cars that kind of punch above their weight class and sometimes don't really reach the mark in terms of reliability. So the original MP412C, which is the platform that this thing started as, it was, they had transmission problems, they had electrical problems, they had like a bunch of these issues that they worked out throughout the years. But then, they kept coming out with car after car after car. Like every 35 seconds, McLaren comes out with another special car. And it just seems like they have tons of problems. Like their new Artura, they have tons of issues because of the V6 and hybrid and all that stuff.